here's a kit I've been wanting to turn for a long time. Lee Valley calls it their El Grande. And Grande it is. Look at the size of the brass tubes. Give you an idea. This is the brass tube for the carpenter's pencil. And it fits inside. No, actually, that's a good thing it fits inside because my barrel trimmer is way too small for those. But my barrel trimmer will fit in here. This one will fit in this one. This one will fit inside the carpenter's pencil. And then this one will fit in here. No, it's not perfect, but it keeps it pretty well centered. So when I drill out my blank with the barrel trimmer, with the cutter, it should do a pretty good job. And at least I don't need to worry about my cutter digging into the sides of the brass tube. Well, I know I got my terminology all messed up there, but I think you know what I meant. Now, this is the first time I've used bushings this large. I do have larger ones, they're for a little flashlight. However, these are the biggest I've ever used on a pen. And here you can see that the one for the cap is going to be approximately 9/16 of an inch at least in diameter, and that will be the smallest part of the cap. I have a tendency to round my stuff over, so it'll probably be around 10/16. What would that be, 5/8? I'll be using the larger size B mandrel, and for the drill bits, I'll be using two that I haven't used before either, and that will be the 31 and the 33/64. I have all the parts laid out here, not necessarily in the right order, and that's because I don't yet know what the right order is, but hopefully by the time I get the pen finished, I'll have it figured out. Hopefully you recall in some of my other videos I talked about having some monkey wood that a neighbor gave me. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this monkey wood. And it's pretty thick. It used to be an old tabletop. And if I rip it right down the middle here, it's going to give me a piece that's a little bit over 3/4 of an inch thick, which is what I need for these big bushings. You know, this bit, for instance, is just a hair over 1/2 inch. So you don't have too much margin for error when you're drilling holes down through the blanks. So I want the blank to be as, thick as possible, reasonably possible. And this should give me reasonably possible. Well, there you can see this a lot better. Those pieces are well over 3/4 of an inch square. They'll make blanks up for even the largest pen. Marking them like this ensures that I'm going to get them the right way around on the mandrel. Otherwise there's the possibility the grain isn't going to match up, You'll see later. Now I have to be honest here, that's not the same pair. I did such a terrible job on the second matching blank that I had to recut another pair, and this is them. I must have bumped the drill press because it was so terribly off. Now the reason I'm leaving my drill press all set up is because I actually have 4 of these kits. So after I've turned this one and videoed it, I just want to sort of relax and turn the other 3. And believe it or not, turning pens is relaxing. Now I've gone ahead and done the second blank the same way I did the first one. So there's no use bothering to film it and waste your time. And I've been told that you can also use a slice of potato as well as a slice of carrot. Now I don't use potato, and there's a real good reason for that. And that's because I like the taste of raw carrots, but I don't like the taste of raw potato. Has sort of a chemically taste to it, like epoxy glue. Just kidding. Okay, I've done that routine twice now. I guess it's time I retired it. And as I've mentioned several times before, be sure and stop as soon as the cutter touches the brass tube. Now for some reason, these bushings are really a tight fit. Well, that one's pretty good. And I remembered to get the ends matched up. Well, as you can tell, my workshop is down in my basement, and dust collection, well, that's pretty important to me. A few years ago, when Canadian Woodworker here in town offered a course on turning, I should have taken it. It just didn't work out for me at that time. So I'm sort of one of these self-taught guys that managed to keep his fingers on. And there's got to be a formula, though, for, different speeds for different sizes. But I'm just sort of guessing that around 2000 RPM is probably just about right for something this size. I find that laying the sandpaper out in order like this makes it really handy. And for this pen I started at 220 and worked my way up to 600. That was my first application of wax. However, it really didn't look a whole lot better after another 4 or 5. And here we are where we started a few minutes ago. Well, truthfully, it's more like about an hour ago. And I just want to double check here to make sure I'm pressing them together the best way possible. Now here's another place where I'm going to have to be extra careful. And the reason being is this piece here is going to be pressed into there. Okay. However, when it screws on, there's only one place that it's always going to stop. Okay. So right now this little collar is just snug on here. So I have to make sure that when I press this piece and this piece together, that the grain is going to line up. So I know I've got them the right way around, but I also got to make sure that it's going to look good no matter which way it's turned when the cap is screwed on, because this is the way the pen is going to be most of the time. The cap is going to be screwed on. And I think that's about it. Okay, another thing I don't want to forget is to put the ring on, because once it's pressed on, I don't think I can pull it apart. Now this is a rather stately pen. I can well imagine Winston Churchill having a pen exactly like it.